We're here at the Green Door Tavern in River North with Keith Giles and David Chase to talk about the West Loop and the South Loop. It was a very industrial neighborhood. They were both very industrial neighborhoods, which means that park space is probably in some ways at a premium. Talk about parks in the West Loop. I have heard some West Loop residents say they wish there was more green space, and I don't know if anything has changed on that score.
Well, there are some new developments, but you know, presently Skinner Park is in the middle of the neighborhood. It's you know, Skinner Elementary, great school, recently demolished, new school being built, immediately adjacent to the park, across the street from the 911 center, as well as across the street from Police Academy. As a result of the 911 center, Police Academy, the fact that major police districts right in the middle of the West Loop, it's always been a very well patrolled, very visible presence of security. The parks, Union Park, Skinner Park, are both great. We've seen some redevelopment in both parks. And now the area, I believe, between Monroe, Adams, Green, and the next street west of Green, which U of I had a facility there, and there was a Cacciatore-owned building that was occupied by the state. It's being demolished. New park going in the middle of that area. And once again, between the West Loop Gate West Central Association, which are two very well-established neighborhood organizations, and the Department of Planning, we're still being pushed to bring green space into our community, whether it be for dog parks, whether it be open space for outdoor dining for the restaurants, whatever it may be. That's important.
How does the South Loop rate park-wise?
Well, you know, we've got a number of parks that have been built over the years. There is Coliseum Park right on Wabash, right across from the old Coliseum. There's a park just north of Dearborn Tower that was there as part of the Dearborn Park 2 project that Thrush actually built those townhomes that David was referring to. There's also a small park by the name of Grant Park, and it's really literally adjacent to Michigan Avenue there, and as a result, I think everything from kind of the L tracks to the east are serviced. The city feels like Grant Park is services those residents, and has poured huge money into Grant Park, as I mentioned before.
Grant Park, just for the record, starts at Adams? Where does Grant Park start?
No, I think Grant Park starts at Roosevelt and goes south. There's lots of green space there.
Okay.
And
sorry, Millennium Park, I'm thinking.
Yeah, Millennium Park starts at Randolph, I think,
right,
and goes north. So, and actually, you know, then there's the museum of the art museum, and the Grant Park kind of connects to Millennium Park. You know, in the Prairie area, there's a couple of parks that have been built by the Central Station developers. We're building a park at the south end of our EXO site, a 10,000 square foot park. And you know, it's all landscaped and really quite attractive the way they've connected Soldier Field. There's a new tunnel there, a new bridge there that you can rollerblade on that I've done many times, and connects really to Grant Park. So it's one of the huge benefits that's different than the West Loop than the South Loop is that you are, you know, connected to the lakefront and all of the amenities that come with that. So yeah, I think we are, you know, we rate pretty good in that category.
Parks, you know, parks are for kids. Parks are for everybody, but, you know, segue into kids. Are both of these communities where as soon as you have kids or as soon as the kids start to reach school age, you get out? I mean, is that what you do? Otherwise, what do you, if townhomes are now uneconomical, single families are certainly tougher than townhomes, what do you do when you run out of space in your loft or your two-bedroom condo? You've got the kid, you're thinking about schools, you know.
I think you're going to see new product evolving, larger condominiums for the, you know, whether it be flats, duplexes, triplexes, built in a condominium environment that will accommodate more people. But you know, given the improvement of schools, and in the West Loop in particular, you know, there's Francis Xavier Ward, which is a wonderful school. There's Skinner Elementary. There's Andrew Jackson. There's Whitney Young. There's a couple private daycare centers opening. We're seeing more and more young families moving into the area, or couples having children in the area, and I think part of the reason these people are having children and will stay is because of their love for the city. Now, as long as you have reasonable schools, good schools at reasonable prices, I think you're going to see more and more retention. However, we do have to build to that shifting demographic. You not only have the empty nesters coming in from the suburbs, whose kids, which is a huge influx of buyers, but you see a younger generation, who are looking for an opportunity and willing to live in a condominium environment as long as they have more space to do so.
And in the South Loop, same deal? I mees that the solution, build bigger condos so that families can...
Well, that is happening. There's a number of projects out there that have bigger units. We do at XO, and I know a lot of the Central Station buildings have been building bigger units with higher price points. So big empty nester crowd that's coming into the South Loop. But there's also families, and there are lots of strollers up and down those streets every single day. It's quite amazing having seen with nobody there other than street people when we started. So it's really great to see that. There is the South Loop School there that's in the middle of Dearborn Park. Jones High School is, I believe, a magnet high school that is being expanded and rehabbed. There's also a charter school along Archer. And then there are the private schools, there's private parochial schools in the area, and that's where people go. But that's a big overriding issue in the city that I think this administration has done a great job of fixing, or at least repairing. But it's a long-term process. It's definitely a long-term process that is not done yet.